Welcome back to the Forge of Champions. We have seen Barrage go 0-1 down to Enclave. Enclave with an interesting composition. We discussed it at great length, but at the very end of it, they got the win, which is all that matters. McScoundrel joined by Celtic Tiger and BP, as per usual. And we are going to be jumping into the second game as soon as we physically can. It looks like it's the up and up for Enclave here. They definitely look like this is going to be a 2-0, but Barrage showed us some signs of life in the mid-game.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that comes down to their jungle presence. That's Reflect. My question now from Enclave's side is, do you feel comfortable playing against the Kayn again? Do you want to ban it away? Because I think let him pick it. If he ends up going Shadow Assassin, it's very counterable. You just have to group up.
I mean, they won.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was a 30-minute game, which might strike you as a game that feels like it was fairly even-paced, but pretty much from 18 minutes onwards it was dominant. It was just a little bit slow in terms of closing out. Yeah,
they picked up some dragons, but the tower taking kind of had a quick snowball to suddenly end.
They had triple Infernal. There was no way they were losing that.
Not with a Rumble, an Aatrox, and a Caitlyn.
Yeah, it was a good game from Enclave. Again, I feel like I personally thought it was flexing a bit. I think it's fine to flex, by the way. I think you know, you don't give away super try-hard strategies that you might want to save for later. B, have a bit of fun. You know, like
it is a game at the end.
It is a game at the end of the day. Play some stuff that you enjoy, like Aatrox mid to Leah jungle, Rumble top. I mean, they aren't particularly bad picks. It just overall as a composition, there wasn't much front line, and you got into a full control team fight. It might have been difficult, but regardless, let's move on because we're going to be heading into the next champion select as soon as we can. Red side this time for Enclave, which means they get a traditional top lane counter pick, which is usually where they go with their red side draft. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, unless they decide to flex again, they could do some kind of flex pick, and then
flexing everything on red side seems odd, though.
Why not, right?
Why not? Why not?
No, but if you lock something that could be jungle, could be top, maybe they decide, okay, we can bring this in. It's still the counter pick, effectively.
Yasuo first ban though, same as the first game. Enclave banning Aurelion Sol as well, respectively. So both sides relatively seeing the power in those kind of pocket picks that we talked about. Yasuo is still very much broken. Aurelion Sol, though, you need to be good at the champion in order to make it broken.
There's a few mid laners in the UK scene that seem to have Aurelion Sol as a top tier pick for them.
I mean, it makes sense. His lane control is fine, and what's really important is his roaming is so good early. And if you can get roaming early, you get your side lanes ahead, you get yourself ahead. Everything's good for you. Yeah,
absolutely. The Nidalee ban comes through here. So again, targeting Reflect. I mean, with the Kayn pickup, you may kind of see that Reflect likes to be a bit more aggressive in his particular choices. The Morgana ban, I think, is good. Shuts down that bendy Haddo Morgana Caitlyn lane, which was impossible, it feels like, for Enclave to deal with.
What I'm looking at here is, I was actually going to say, if they left Talia up at this point, it would definitely have been first lock, because if you get rid of Morgana, there's nothing stopping you being CC'd and then seismic shoved to your death.
So Rakan comes through as a first pick here for Bardiono, which is something that was banned on their side previously.
Yes,
I think
they took away the Rakan ban this time, replaced it with a Morgana ban, and then first picked their support.
This means that they likely get themselves the Xayah Rakan, because you don't really want to pick Xayah without the Rakan.
Yeah, I think absolutely Xayah Rakan is likely going to be the port of call here, unless Enclave pick it up, which they don't.
No.
So.
Which that ends that argument.
It's to be expected. You don't really want Xayah without it, so you now get yourself Xayah Rakan. You'll be very happy coming in as Barrage.
Yeah, and it's obviously, like I said, it's a lane that is designed to work well together, and does, believe it or not. It's a very, very good lane, and we'll see if that is indeed what Barrage go for. I think it's likely. I think you pick up your I would say pick up your jungle and your AD carry here.
Yeah, I think Camille's good because you can technically put it into the jungle.
Yeah.
Given Reflect style, I think something aggressive like Camille makes sense.
I was going to say as well, the Camille was banned last time. They replaced it with Talia ban, so he was able to pick that one up. Good job. And it's actually Kaiser Rakan.
That's interesting.
I just don't...
That's interesting.
I mean, Kaiser's great, and I understand it into something like Tahm Kench Gragas, so you have strong front line, you want to get through that quickly, but Xayah Rakan's so good in lane, and
you
feels like if you get
that Rakan so heavily.
Yeah.
I think, look, Kai'Sa works with Rakan, and we've seen Kai'Sa work with Rakan time and time again. In fact, actually, I think it's one of the better AD carries that can work with Rakan. She's got a lot of protection with the Rakan there in front of her and things like that. But this, for me, feels like Barrage are giving themselves a late-game win condition, because in a lot of ways, Kai'Sa, if you get her to the late game, can often, even if individually you are outmatched, she's just so strong at that point in the game that it's so difficult to deal with. And you've got this big front line of Tahm and even Gragas now. So, you know, it's something that she can shred through.
The question is then if Monk decides to lean away from his tankier style and go for the AP Gragas, just to delete the Kai'Sa movement.
Maybe.
Anything's possible.
Anything is possible.
Let's
have a look how this is going on then. So the Ashe pick, let's talk about that for a second. Ashe gets picked in early on here at the, I thought champion selection just disappeared there.
Yeah.
But, so it's going to be, we likely think it's going to be Ashe, Tahm Kench in the bot lane here. Again, Tahm Kench is a pick that you often see into Ashe, specifically because Devour counters the Crystal Arrow so well. This is a lane that I think is going to have the priority earlier on here against the. Oh, there is something crazy going on.
We'll continue talking about the Ashe.
I think it's our end. I don't think it's the. I don't think it's the players. So
I agree with you in terms of Ashe. The volley early on just gives you so much pressure.
You've got the range advantage as well. The pure range advantage too.
Yeah.
And that's always nice.
Yeah.
You can
and the kind of what I love about Ashe is that her utility is like it's just really kind of good to catch people out with that, just like half a screen away, boom, there's an Ashe arrow, full fight, you're dead, you can't do anything about it. So
gives you a really solid engage tool from Enclave as well to combo with that Gragas. And we'll see the rest of the bans coming through.
A lot of mid lane bans.
Yeah, that's some targets going towards Seb. Maybe I think he likely defaults to the Anivia in this situation, I would imagine, just simply because it is something that I feel like he's comfortable on. I think it works as a good protector tool. The only problem with Anivia in this particular scenario is that you don't really have much of an early to mid game if you go for it. You're all a late game, total late game focused composition here.
Wow, and Darius actually picked up, so Enclave prioritizing the mid lane counter over the top lane.
That's styling for me, for Rifty specifically. Like, picking Darius blind can be risky, especially when you see a Camille up, and then Camille...
Nara's up.
Yeah, Nara's up as well. I mean, there's plenty of counters available for Governor. Maybe this is saying to Governor, we don't think you're going to pick a carry. We think you're just going to stick to a tank. If you go on a carry, I think it's going to outskill you anyway, so...
If it's a skill matchup, he feels like it wins. It actually looks like it's going to be the Camille top and Kindred in the jungle.
Camille top does okay into Darius.
Yeah,
I mean, it's one of the okay melee versus melee matchups. Her shield can help her out. She's got good sustain with her sweep. She can dive on him. She can outburst him. Yeah,
the important thing is in most trades you want to save your hookshot to get out.
Yes, yes.
So we'll see how that works for Governor. Who was traditionally more of a tank player, but has since played a few more carries since we've seen him in Forge.
I like the combination of the Camille and the Kindred in a 2v1 or even a 2v2 situation, because there's just so much kind of damage you're able to put down so quickly that it's just a nice little kind of thing, as well as a little bit of lockdown from the Camille, which means that if the Darius does overstep, he can be punished quite hard.
And speaking of grouping up, I really like what Barrage can do. If you group up as 5, there is so much AoE raining down you from Kindred, Kai'Sa, Ryze, and then Rakan, Camille can just lock them up to allow that damage. That's a lot of coming together in a 5v5.
And Lamb's Respite buys a lot of time for these damage dealers to get that output down, because, if you dive in with a big engage here, that Lamb's Respite is going to stop Rifty popping off, and it's going to give you time to react to that. It's going to it might even allow him time to get your particular carries out of the way so they can't get dunked as easily. You can burst down Ashe while Lamb's Respite is giving you buying that time. It's a good composition overall. My only worry is it scales really late and doesn't have too much early.
And what I really like about the Zoe lock in here is it just fully cements Enclave. We want to pick you off one by one.
100%
we have
a pick.
Ashe Arrow, we have the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. There is a lot that they need to worry about, on top of things like Gragas, and then Tahm, who can just flank you with Darius.
Something that we haven't talked about as well, Aaron's Zoe was banned away from him in the XL series every single game. Yep. There is something that Aaron has with this Zoe that makes him a very powerful champion for him.
The big thing, his 2 big picks were always Yasuo and then Zoe. So Yasuo banned away, go towards a Zoe, especially down here when you know you're picking it into a matchup which, well, it's not inherently Zoe favored, certainly doesn't counter.
So, if we look at these 2 compositions, I think, if I'm going to the late game here, obviously I'm in Barrage's camp every day of the week. I mean, every single one of those champions scales like a madman.
But you gotta survive.
You've got to survive to get there. We talk about Lamb's Respite being a good time-buying tactic, but it is only for a limited period of time. And in the early to mid-game, it's buying your late-game champions a bit more time to get some damage off. I don't know if that damage is going to be good enough.
Yeah, I mean, Lamb's Respite doesn't buy you 35 minutes.
Yeah.
That would be so ultimate.
Cumulatively, it might buy you a minute over the course of the entire game.
Maybe, if you don't get completely obliterated by this pick comp.
And then you look at this Ashe, this Zoe, the Gragas, the engage potential there. That is a composition that if you're trying to get to late, they will force the issue with you before you can get to that stage. And given how we know the Enclave's laning phase is in general a little bit better, I just from that outset favor Enclave because I know them as players. I've seen that matchup before. They've got the way to force the issue in the mid game. If this gets late, if this goes past 35 minutes and Barrage are getting 3 items and all their carries, hell yeah, Barrage, go kick some ass. But before that, it's Enclave's territory.
But even then, what we talked about as well as in terms of Enclave as a team is that like their late game shot calling and their decision making in that late game is so crisp, so clean, and that's how they kind of come back with it. It's kind of like almost Barrage are like, we'll go to the late game, it's like, but you're going straight into their territory, which they're really good at as well. So even if you get there, it's still a risk.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Enclave though, and actually, I generally favor this style in drafts in general. I love when people go more aggressive because it goes, we have all the cards early on, and if we roll with that, we can just continue to control the game, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I think that's exactly what they have here. They have so much pick that once they start a lead, they can just walk up to people and one-shot them.
Yeah.
The only problem with Enclave is that if this gets to 5v5 teamfight situations and things are on even pegging, especially post 30 minutes, Barrage will eat them alive.
Yes.
Like Zoe is a terrible team fighter. Ash is not as good as Kaisa in terms of straight damage output. Darius will get hard countered by Lamb's Respite and they can burst him down, especially Kaisa when she gets those items on her. So straight teamfight potential, Barrage are kicking butt left, right and center, but it takes...
At 35 minutes.
At 35 minutes. It takes that long to get there. That's why I'm worried. Enclave, however, we know are the better team and they have those big engage tools to force the issue. That level, that top bot lane tower dive potential, super good, because Tahm Kench is also on the side of Enclave, so they can't even get out of jail free card.
I was thinking even later on, you could just Tahm Kench behind them and bring Darius.
Yes.
Because they are a lot of squishy members in their backline. If Darius is on top of you, you are really starting to struggle.
No one there tanks Darius at all. Like, every single champion from Barrage is going to get dunked by Darius very quickly.
Yeah. I'm going to make a slight prediction.
Yeah.
I'm expecting Enclave 24 minutes.
24 minutes, that's exact. All right, well, I guess I'll float that one over to you, Tig. Give me a number.
Can I do like the Price is Right thing? I'm going to get 23.59.
No.
Yeah, I'll go for
be minutes.
Okay.
It has to be like a minute difference.
I'll go for 27. I think they can hold out a little bit longer with just Rise, Wave, Clear, and Kindred Lamb's Respite.
I'm after seeing Rifty in Forge of Champions 2 finals, I'm like so terrified of him just
I honestly
completely popping off.
I'm going 15-minute FF. No,
I mean,
my point was I think 24 minutes is like my mid-ground. I think it'll either go to 27 or it'll end at like 21.
I swear 24 is just like the most average time for a dominant League of Legends game, you know, that you ever see, because
that's why I got in early.
You don't get the 20-minute surrenders, so it takes like 4 minutes extra to just end the game.
Take the inhibitors and just go, come on, lads.
But yeah, I think most of us look at this as an Enclave win, but
Barrage have their avenues to victory.
If I delete the nameplates and delete the teams, I'm looking at Barrage and saying I think they win just from compositionally on even peggings.
I mean, I always favor the aggressive style, so even without nameplates, I generally need to see them to really decide whether they can execute a pick comp, but I generally favor this style. I predict it wins even if I'm not 100% sure it will.
So, you know, I talk a lot about in especially UK League, multiple threat compositions. There's like so many threats on Barrage, and if you have even laners and no one's giving up kills in lane, you know, apart from the lane ones you can force with jungle or force with tower dives or whatever, you know, I'm looking at Barrage saying they have got so much damage coming from so many places that it's very difficult to play against. Whereas Enclave have got mediocre AD carry damage output with Ashe, which is not the best, not the worst, but not the best, and then they've got like good single target burst, but that's what it is, single target burst coming from the Zoe. The only thing that Enclave Barrage may be lacking is they don't have their own proper form of engage. Realistically, the only thing you've got is Camille hookshot into ultimate, and then that isolates herself, and you don't have that follow-up.
This also plays back into why we think this game might end slightly earlier than you might expect, because if you've no way of engaging or tanky side, if one team gets ahead, they just start to one-shot you so quickly. And when you're looking at specifically what Enclave drafted, there was a lot of damage coming down if they're ahead.
Yeah, and they've got good early to mid-game damage, like Gragas damage output, even in this Cinderhulk is brilliant, and obviously Darius smashing people. But you know, as the later and later it goes, you get outclassed, you know. So, but we'll see when we get in. If this is a win for Barrage, obviously massive props to them. We go through, but I don't think it's likely to be just from what we've seen.
We'll have to wait and see as we are jumping into Game 2 of Barrage Esports versus Enclave Gaming. And we'll see if that our predictions are correct, or if Barrage can cause a pretty significant upset Again, I will be delighted if they can.
And this is what I was hoping for from Monk, is he's leaning towards that AP Gragas side with the Electrocute here. I mean, you can always go Runic Echoes into tank with that, but it's very unusual to see a tank Gragas not take Aftershock. I'm expecting something a little more AP focused in the early game.
Yeah.
And I think that makes sense given the win conditions of the comp.
Yeah, I mean, definitely provides an extra element of damage to the team. Barcelona going aggressive for the level 2.
Yeah, we're actually going to see the level 2 hit early by Barrage, but
Oh
now
my God.
a lot of trouble. Governor!
Yeah.
Governor!
No, it wasn't. It was, oh, you mean Governor didn't body block
Just
it?
kind
Yeah,
of went
yeah.
like, nah, mate, sorry, I'm
There,
out.
that was a dead person one
It
way or
was,
another.
but you could at least try.
Feels bad, man. Reflects. Holy moly.
Well, I think 24 minutes is going to be
I mean,
it's
look.
a long game for Barrage if that's what we're looking at. But that's what you talked about. That's the kind of pick composition that this side of Enclave have picked up for themselves in Barrage. They just, you know, it's all about survival. It's a battle royale for them. They just need to get there.
Where's their loot?
Go prone in the grass with a handgun and just kind of like pretend that you're going to make it like...
Sad,
Yeah.
aggressive.
I mean, Aaron could just return that because he has Electrocute up. There's so much quick damage coming down. Hado, doing what you want.
Reflect has no flash, and Reflect is just going to be in so much pain and so much suffering.
Reflect.
They haven't killed him yet, though, because Hado's gone
Oh,
very, very low. Now Bendy in a little bit of trouble. Seb, by the way, Seb's now in a lot of trouble. Dragon was procced. Actually ends up being a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Barrage.
No.
Oh, no, not of Barrage.
Oh.
Sorry, Kindred respond. I was trying to see who died. I was like, wait a
look at that
minute.
first. We'll call it a back from Zoe. That is 2 Amtubs
We're
Dark
going to
Seal.
say goodbye
Kieran.
to you as we go into a replay.
Yeah, we're just going to watch everything that's happening here. You're jumping out at a good time, friend, because this was messy. Reflect is still just level 2, trying to find his mark. Hado steals that. Now it gets real messy. That's stolen
Look
by
how long
Monk is
Reflect
there.
lasts, though, because the Dragon actually procs on the Hado.
Yeah. It doesn't matter, though. They just walk forward. Down they go. Now, Aaron ends up on the wrong side, so it's actually a shutdown going over to Barcelona already at this game. And then you can see Monkiz was actually looking for the re-engage because he has enough damage to one-shot them at that point. But no, ends up just returning.
I think, you know, in honor of Scoundrel, I think flexing is definitely the word we will use in this one. It's just so much aggression all the time. It's 3-1 in kills. It only equals like less than 1,000 gold lead right now, but it's that mental aspect of it. The fact that Reflect has died twice, has boots and a Hunter's Machete.
Yeah.
Not a fun. Oh my god. Rift is also going to put down the pain.
Yep. I mean, double Dorans, you take the boots as well. I mean, your whole team's snowballing. I actually like the boots more specifically than anything else because first of all, it's great for your lane, but secondly, it means if you start playing more aggressive with the jungler, you can really quickly run to respond.
And also, not to take away from Barrage as well, or to take away from Enclave, but Seb and Aaron, or sorry, not Seb, excuse me, Bendy and Aaron got super, super low in that Dragon fight. They did flash away, they did get away with it, but, you know, a mistimed flash or something like that, that fight looks very, very different for a variety of different, you know, kind of angles, and definitely, you know, happy that they have, you know, pretty solid trigger fingers on their F or D keys. Because we're not going to... UK Riot do not want us to bring up that debate.
Really? I think it's such a standard. I still
Did
think
you not see what happened when UK Riot's Twitter put out F or D?
No.
Oh, it was
people not respond
storm.
well? Okay.
It was a storm. It was like honestly like it was like old school Crusaders. You know what I mean? It was like there was a very clear one side or the other. It did not go down well. People were very, very.
I mean, I'm for F myself, and now this is.
God.
Yeah.
This is.
You have nowhere to run, sir.
You shall not pass. And Reflect. Seb. Run away.
Aaron could probably just cleanse here.
Yeah.
Kill him. Ah,
Seb,
got close.
Burn
Yeah, just
coming
use
down.
the cleanse you're holding. That would have killed him.
It would have.
Yeah.
It would have just killed him, but doesn't decide to use it, just puts
They're
down a lot
holding
of
on. They're trying to
damage.
give me my prediction. They're trying to hold on till 27 minutes.
Yeah. 24. No, I'm joking. Of course, Barrage in a very difficult position right now. Reflect went from having a pretty decent early game in game 1, and they have just shut him down. Like 100%. He is not having any kind of luck whatsoever.
Partly want to credit this to the fact that Aaron got a pick that I would say he's more comfortable on. I think he looked a lot better in this Zoe than he did in the other game on the Aatrox.
I agree. I think Aatrox was similar to when NSG picked it up in their final game against Win the Rain. It was a bit of kind of like an extra flex, and
I mean, that being said, he looks better on Zoe.
He does.
He looked pretty good in Aatrox too.
He did. But it's kind of like playing to your strengths rather than taking away.
100%. So, see now, every lane winning, except kind of bot lane. But does that really matter at this point? Somewhat. I mean, Kai'Sa is the win condition, but a long time to wait for Kai'Sa to take people on. Yeah. We'll see how far they get.
And
Monkus.
This is not going to end well for Governor as he does get jumped in. Hextech Ultimatum comes down. Actually does not hit the Q from Rift, and this is a good shutdown. Doors actually misses it. It's a 2v1. He comes out with the kill. It's actually going to go the double buffs over to the side of Seb, who did use the Realm Warp to get in. That's pretty good for the side of Barrage. That delays a good lot of the pressure that the Enclave had on their side.
And that was a nice outplay there from Governor. That was just pretty standard, but actually it's going to be another play.
Yeah, they're going to go in now. They're going to try and get this Kai'Sa moving and rolling, and Reflect picks himself up a kill. Zoe trying to come down, though. Has a lot of damage. Bartinho, come on, man. It's just,
there's more to go. Reflect is only level 5.
I don't think he can fully kill them off just yet. There is a full minion wave in the way. Yeah, has got the W. The TP coming back in here from the Tam Kench.
No, they can still chase down Reflect if he wants. If he wants to guess where Reflect is, because they know the red buff spawning. Zoe's actually angling back around for it.
And Gragas is in tow to be able to help, and you see that is exactly what they're doing right now. They're just going to put down the pain onto Reflect, but
Flash onto him.
Oh, Flash is in, does not land the sleepy bubble trouble, or trouble bubble.
I think he should have held on to Flash when it wasn't going to take him back into his ult, because you know where Governor is, you know Ryze isn't in a position to respond yet. I think that would have been smarter, but ends up trying to go for the quick one shot, doesn't get it.
Now, this game has a very different feel to it, because we're seeing kills being picked up by Barrage. We're seeing pretty good outplay in the top side, a good initiative in the bot lane. Oh dear.
Get over here.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate timing as such, as we see Sleepy Trouble Bubble does land there. Seb going to take a lot of damage. A nice little bit of RNG there for Aaron, because, you know, you should just be able to get redemptions just, you know, at 7 minutes, 8 minutes. It's just fine.
Yep. So and on the other side, though, it was actually an Ash Arrow dodged. So that's down for a little bit. That does deny some of Enclave's speed, slowing us down to that key 27-minute mark where I will be victorious.
And another Infernal Drake. Enclave living with the RNG gods right now, up there in wherever RNG heaven is, but Reflect gonna get drugged away, but he's actually not quite gone down just yet. They do not get the dragon, unfortunately, and now
goodbye Reflect.
Goodbye Reflect, as you go down to the grey screen for the 5th time. I'd say he's seen more grey than he's seen color this game.
Yeah, at this point he's dying so much that I think Zorky's about to swap in mid-game.
Yeah. Or even, we should have a timer. How much time does, oh dear. Governor,
there it is.
There it is. Enough stacks of bleed. Even though he does mess up the ultimate combo a little bit, it doesn't really matter. Aaron lands the Sleepy Trouble Bubble, forces the cleanse out from Seb. Actually, a nice little bit of a return. Cleanse and flash available. Flash only used. Seb does end up burning his flash as well. And now Aaron needs to be a little bit more respectful of this Ryze. This Ryze will get pretty big. Hand put out a lot of machine gun damage. You know, pop, 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 pop.
Yes, bop, 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 indeed, BP. But I'm more looking now towards the Zoe who just backed and went from Lost Chapter to Ludens. That's going to be a lot of damage in those quick trades, on top of the fact that you have the Electrocute already doing a lot. Electrocute taken when you want to really dominate the lane, and you're seeing why.
3,500 gold lead now for Enclave. It's even though they are making mistakes and, you know, giving away kind of a little bit of free kills, it's still working relatively well.
How are we doing?
Enclave know where he is, and even if they don't, he seems to be representing himself to them, being like, hello, I'm here. And
sending Wolf out as the scout party.
Yeah, just literally just like,
oh, okay. Yeah, goodbye, friend.
He's got to be worth like minimal gold soon.
I mean, he's 1-6. Okay, now it's the engage.
Engage comes in, but they do not get the flash in from the Rakan, and actually able to put in a lot of damage onto this Ashe. Hado has to use the Devour. They get him onto the tower. Does pop that grey health to keep himself alive. Nobody goes down, and Seb, gotta give him credit. He's trying his very, very hardest right now.
Yeah, Seb's actually making some really good roams down, and that was just really cleanly played by both Hado and Bendy, timing with the Devour, and then the grey health just about survived what was a very good 2v3.
Yeah, and actually now Reflect. Reflect! This is not what you want! Actually, maybe it is! He baits him in with the Lamb's Respite, and Reflect gets Explosive Cast away. Doesn't actually get the final kill.
The key thing there was that what you want to do as Aaron was actually walk forward just so it guaranteed the 1-for-1 because you would have been in the Lamb's Respite as well.
And here we go. Enclave going to use the Tamkench ultimate to get back in this, but Bendy's in a hell of a lot of trouble. He's forced to flash away. No mana available though for the Kai'Sa. Eaten up and spit back out now. Hado can 1v2. We've seen this before. Or can he 1v2? He's got to be a little bit careful as well. He has no longer got the great health. Rakan was still there, but no mana on the Kai'Sa means that they have to back away as my voice breaks a tiny bit. Just a little bit.
Just pretty close to going down there, but not quite. Now on the other side, we were seeing the 4-kill Zoe, but something we've actually not touched on a huge amount is the 4-kill Darius in top lane.
Ooh.
That is building towards that Triforce. We'll be able to take out all the squishy members, which is pretty much everyone from Barrage. And that'll quickly become a problem for them in the split push. Already has, really.
Yeah, he's definitely been able to pick up. Even when Reflect's gotten away, he hasn't gotten away. But the thing is, he has got 4 kills, but as I said, a lot of them have actually been onto Reflect. Like, I think 2 of them have. So it's actually not a huge amount of gold. I know that sounds really bad, but up until Reflect picked up that kill, he wasn't worth a lot. So, you know, relative.
Another dodge dash arrow. So Jakamaka getting those fancy feet down. Bendy, just, you know, getting the zoning arrows out of the way so you can move on to the important ones once those team fights kick in.
If there are any team fights to be had, that's the big question.
I don't think they'll, like, Enclave don't need to team fight. They can just kill people one-on-one constantly. I think you could set up something close to a 1-3-1. Your Zoe is so strong at this point.
Now, Rakan's sitting on a ward, so he is not going to be able to get the flash engage that he wants to get right now, because right now, Jakamaka is at a pretty decent spike.
It's Reflect.
It's
there he is. He's coming in.
It's like a John Cena thing. He dies so quickly, he's just like, you can't see me.
I mean, in fairness, Reflect has a surprising amount of farm, given the way the game's played out.
He is still equal on levels.
Yeah.
So, you know, despite having spent a good minute of the early game in the grey screen, he's actually not that far behind in terms of where he realistically could be.
Yes.
He is still very much far behind, but he is still, you know, doing his best he can. And Folly going to be able to spot out a pretty telegraphed Death Bush from Barrage, and we're back into Death Bush territory, baby.
But it's Realm Warps available too. Actually spotted out by Hawkshot. The Rise roaming down.
Maybe we see a little bit of engage. Bork has been finished up now, along with the Storm Rager's Edge. So both AD carries sitting on a decent one item. You would argue that Jakamaka's one is a tiny bit more impactful for him, but again, nothing huge. And that ward is just paying out so much dividends right now. It is doing so much to stop any kind of a move.
It got spotted this time.
And now they know that this Kindred is bot side, which means they can put 4 people down here, stop any kind of engage, but that also frees up Darius in the top lane.
Yep, Darius walks forward. They know Rise is going to go respond to him. Then they have the numbers advantage bot, so they at least get the tower there, can get kills if Barrage decide to commit to it.
Actually, maybe Barrage look for Enclave as we look for this now. Here comes the ultimate as well as the TP. Does not actually kill Reflect right now, and they're charmed on the tower. This tower is still very, very healthy. Hextech Ultimatum is on top of Ash, and Hado now in a little bit of trouble. He will go golden for just a little bit, and he gets taken down now. Camille wants more. Flash out by Aaron. They're going to see now. Barnatano tries to go back in, but there's just not enough damage. Jakamaka hasn't got the health, nor has he got the mana bar. Reflect going to stay alive for just a few more seconds. Tries to take Bendy. Bendy's spending a lot on the edge. Very low health bars for Enclave, but they do trade off 3 for 1. Enclave looking on course for a very, very dominant game 2.
Yeah, that is pretty heavy. I mean, 6-14. There is more kills than minutes in this game by a pretty wide margin too. So this game has been playing very fast for Enclave, which plays into exactly what they want. The 7-death Kindred as well. Ugh. Reflect is struggling right now. He is literally half of Barrage death.
Yeah, we'll have a look at the replay of that now. And it looks okay for Barrage.
Yeah, and I mean, this Explosive Cask isn't great for them either. And Reflect is actually knocked away, so he's kind of safe. They get the re-engage here, but just there's not enough damage going down. Hado just saves them. Aaron's then able to re-engage from afar as Zoe. And now, I mean, I love that pose too. But, I mean, he does go down, But just look at the quick turnaround. Aaron flashes and then just starts one-shotting both of them as Bardiona goes for the engage.
Bardiona looked like he kind of went in, and it was just like a freeze frame, and it's just like, and it was at this moment he knew he messed up.
Yeah, it was literally, he started to go
very close though.
Yeah, I mean the sleep hit. It was very close, but it would have just been a consolation prize. That tower was going down again. It comes right back to the fact you now have an 8k gold lead in Enclave, and they've yet to land an arrow.
They landed an arrow in that fight. They did at the start.
Okay.
It was very, very much the first arrow they hit, but we're seeing them now. I like the initiative that took from Reflect right there. He knew the Sleepy Trouble bubble had hit. He knew he was going to die regardless, so he tries to trade it out. It's an idea. I don't know if it's a good one, but it's one. And right now we're staring down the barrel of a 8,000 goal lead at 17.5 minutes, and Enclave, they can't deal with anyone right now. And even this solo lane, like, Darius does not care. He does not. He goes as he pleases. He's cosplaying his Mundo right now.
Yeah, but now he's actually going to be in the 1v2. I'm not sure if he can make this work. Maybe he can. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, he can indeed. There's the fear going onto the minion, and another little boom. Dunk, and more dunkage. Rifty showing us spirits and flames of his previous iteration of Darius, and they can't deal with him. Even 2v1, they can't deal with him.
It was the flash that allowed for that, though. He flashes onto Kindred, who's already used the Q suddenly. Just gets one shot. That is a very weak Kindred right now for reasons we all know.
Yeah, speaking of one shot, we're going to see a couple more members of the side of Barrage getting one-shotted pretty damn easily if they're not so careful. They will not take the tower just yet. Darius is backing away. They have not got the pressure. They are going to go for the next Drake, which is going to be a Cloud.
Yep.
Not the most snowbally one, but still, get it off the map.
Yeah, I mean, get yourself another Drake. Why not? I mean, you're in so much control over this game. You can just leave Rifty to take whatever. Aaron picks up the blue buff. Again, there's just massive swings in favor of Enclave. Literally over a 10k gold lead right now at 18 minutes 50.
I think the timer is very much on right now. 5 minutes for the side for my prediction. I think I'll take it if I'm within 30 seconds, but I don't know if our
I thought we were just competing. I thought it was just going to be who's closer.
Yeah, but if we're both wrong, we're both wrong.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough, right?
Like, if this goes to 35 minutes, we're wrong.
Yeah.
But
how this plays out, though.
It does not look like it's going to go there. Steric's Gauge now finished up for the Darius, so he's even more unkillable now with that extra little bit of a shield coming in, or health, as he gets really big for a second. It's just like kind of like holds up his chest, you know, it's like, whoa.
Yeah, Triforce Steric's is, I mean, it's not as good as it once was. It's still pretty good for the likes of Darius. Still get good AD scaling.
Luden's Echo.
I like Lichbane.
Someone's going to get one shot. Let's have a look at this replay. This was, you just can't fight him. He's too big.
No, just wait for the flash, because that's where the key is. So he sees Reflect, and then the Q has already been used there.
Oh,
and it just doesn't matter. Q flash on top of him, drag him back in, auto, reset with W. That's a Sheen proc too. Ult on top. You have your Conqueror going, and get yourself another ult, and then another fight that we're almost missed, but Lamb's Respite holds them out for that little bit longer. Baron spawned. Why bother starting it? Why not just kill people instead?
Yeah, why not? Just gonna go for it. And this is just so much happening. Even the Gragas is with only a Runic Echoes and a Spirit Visage. It's nearly like quarter hitting the Seb. He's down to half health after 2 barrels. It's nothing he can do right now. They are just trying to just basically find kills. Someone dies right now. It's the end game for Barrage, and this could be a lot quicker than 24 minutes as Enclave. This has been a statement series for them. They have very much just said, we are #1, and you are, you know, we are going to continue to have that title, even if Excel and Baron. Oh, the Rakan has to go back. I don't think he can really engage on anything right now. He's so low. Maybe he's going to try. He is. He's going to go in with a threat. That's a good little engage now. They get the Tree-Man charm down onto them. Ash and Tom Kench in a little bit of trouble. Now here comes the Darius, though, and they're just too far behind. Yes, they get 2, but they lose 3. Darius wants more. Darius wants blood. Darius wants the Rakan, but he hasn't got his flash. But even though they gain 2, Barrage just haven't got anything left in the tank. It was a perfect fight for them at the start, but again, they're just too far behind.
Yeah, it just doesn't matter at this stage. I mean, this is the kind of games we consider possible coming out from Enclave. It's nice to see that they can come back on form. This is the statement they wanted to make.
Delayed triple kill, gonna go over.
I mean, Aaron died there.
That's true. Aaron did die, but again, I don't think Aaron's the issue right now. I do believe
something tells me the rest of Enclave
it's the rest
are
of Enclave as well, as we see maybe a potential Penta coming in here for the Darius as he gets stunned up under tower. Needs to be careful. Eaten up by the Tamkens. They get themselves 2 inhibitors. They back away. Or do they? Governor, one more auto attack will do it. And ooh, just I don't like looking at a gold lead that's nearing 15k as we're at 22 minutes. It's just not fun.
It is.
They have nearly as much gold lead as we've played minutes in the game.
Yeah. Now I'm trying to decide, do they even bother going for the 3rd inhib? They could do whatever they want. I mean, they can walk up to Nexus Tower at this point.
I think it's Baron and ends. I think they just like, because they're on, it's literally Baron's on their way. They just like step off. It's like a garage. You know, it's gonna go off. Yep, we got to refuel. Cool, we're feeling great. Straight down.
Yeah.
It's just, Barrage, they tried. They played decently enough in the first game, but the second
Let's have a look at how far behind they are with this replay.
It's just not looking good.
The engage was good. Barcelona gets the 2-man ult W in. You see how this starts. Gets it. And that's a nice bit of damage. They actually start really hurting, and then Tamkench does his thing. Hado goes down, but Aaron also gets a huge amount of damage off of the other side. And then it's Seb, who is almost taken out by Rift, who's able to just run through this fight. They can't even do damage to him in return for him one-shotting them. Yeah,
3 for 2. It sounds good, but it's just not when you get such a perfect engage. This is an even game. That is like a 5 for nothing straight away because you have so much damage available in that team fight. And we talked about how Enclave, they don't want a team fight, but they don't care anymore. They're so far ahead. They've got 3 items on the Darius. They've gotten 2.5 items onto the Zoe. Like, who's gonna die in this fight? And oh, I was gonna say, Seb needs to force his flash. They're gonna go for that last inhibitor. Camille off on the backside though, Rift getting 3-man, trying to get him on top of him, 4-man even, but they're just giving up the turret. He does not care! He does not give any damage! He picks up 2 and a 4v1!
I think I saw 1,000 gold on that shutdown.
God damn it, he's 11 and 2, and this is why he's solo. This is why he blind picked it, because he did not care. Now Governor, you're just going to go down eventually, my friend. Flash in for Monkiz to secure that one, and that is going to be the game. Roughly at 24 minutes. Most likely going to go down. They want more kills. They want more kills. But again, Enclave dominating. Enclave clean. Enclave looking so good.
Yeah, Enclave cleaned house right here, as this was just a showcase. That looks like Barrage are just trying to slightly extend here.
God damn it, I wanted to win. But they're just going to wait for Darius, I think. They're going to wait for Rift.
I mean, I was actually wondering if they can clear the wave. They can. Okay.
Looks like you might actually win.
I might actually win here.
You might actually win. Damn it!
If they get past 25.5 minutes, I win.
If we're going by closest, yes.
Yeah.
So I have like 45 seconds for them to win.
Yeah.
I don't think they can make it. They can't make it up the lane that quick. So yes, you've won.
Yeah.
Yeah. God damn it!
They definitely could have ended there too.
They 100% could have ended. They just went for kills. God damn it, Enclave.
They know me.
They wanted me to win. They heard it. They were like, wait. Reset. And it's like, why are we resetting? Reset.
The analyst said so.
Yeah, the analyst cannot lose to the play-by-play.
Let's have a look at this replay.
Let's have a look.
I'm just going to watch Rift in this one, because this is the fun part.
Observers are showing us this.
Let's just only watch Rift. Okay? So he gets the WQ off. He actually doesn't even hit that much. It just doesn't matter, because he just starts one-shotting everyone.
And here we go. End of the game coming up
3,
now.
2, 1.
It's going to be the last team fight coming in from the side of Barrage. They're trying to get as much as they possibly can. They do pick up Aaron off on the backside of this. They have still got 1, 2, maybe a little bit more. Never mind.
Rift.
It's going to be a double kill, maybe a triple kill, maybe the quadra kill. Do they go for the penta?
He can get it.
Could be
go
the Darius dunk. Penta. Governor is just
get
going
the hell
to keep
back.
running away. Rifty wants this. Rifty knows.
He has no flash. He's just waiting to see if he can get onto Governor. It's not going to happen. He's going to miss out the penta.
No.
Governor's denying.
Governor is denying the penta as Hado ends the game with the rest of his army of minions. And that is going to be a crazy dominant performance from Enclave right there. And
I was almost done with my little sheet of timestamps, and then at the end there, I wanted to put the almost penta in.
I wanted the penta. We all wanted the penta, and Governor denied. Governor said no. You
feels
shall
bad,
not
man,
have
Governor.
this.
That's BM from Governor right
Yeah,
there.
man.
I mean, he literally danced in front of him at max range.
I was gonna say, it's like, if Governor wanted to take away anything, he's just like, you get the win, but I get the gloating rights. You don't get a penta.
Not much we can say about that game. I think realistically, if you look at it, it was just a dominant game. One lane, one game.
That is what we expect from someone who's looking at first seed to someone who's looking at now 8th seed.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think guaranteed almost 8th
exactly.
seed. It's a 8th seed for Barrage, and obviously Enclave continue to look good. Now going to be facing up against the winner of, I think they're facing up against Wind and Rain. They're going to be facing up against Wind and Rain.
Yes.
So that will be a challenge for Wind and Rain, given how they played yesterday in a matchup that
I think if Enclave shows up as they did here, in this game 2 at the very least,
so 2-0.
Wind and Rain are very quickly 2-0.
Yeah, I think Enclave look like the hardest team to beat in the league right now. Very versatile, can play lots of things. Rifty just, again, you can't let him have Darius. It's just not good.
I mean, he picked it knowing that you could have countered. They didn't, and they got punished for it. I mean, Camille is a very it's a mediocre matchup.
Doesn't get dumpstered like a lot of other melee matchups do.
But still got dumpstered.
Got dumpstered though. That's
quite a few.
I think that's more Governor versus Rifty as opposed to.
I agree.
And I don't think Governor
100%.
will have any qualms of saying that. Rifty is just a god top laner in the UK right now. So, right. I think I guess we'll have the damage graph coming up, but honestly, this game was just it was a whitewash.
Yeah. Do we even want to look at it?
Do we need to look at it at the end of the day?
It's just gonna say Darius.
It's more just gonna say Enclave.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
Okay, who wants to guess who had the lowest damage on Enclave? I'm not even sure. I mean, Tamked maybe.
I gotta say
like
Tamked.
No, Tamked.
I'm actually gonna say Ash. I'm gonna say Ash.
You're gonna say Ash was lower than Tamked.
I'm gonna say Ash was lower than Tamked.
I think Tamked has got to be lower.
I think Tamked had the lowest, and I think Kindred had the lowest on.
Yeah, I think Kindred.
Let's have a look.
I don't.
Wow, I was so wrong.
I mean, Tamked was right, but Rakan was.
Rakan wasn't even that far off Rise.
No, Rakan actually wasn't doing too bad. But I thought Kindred might have the lowest. Kindred actually had the highest
I was
damage.
just about to say, it's like, fun fact, Reflect, despite getting completely thrown to the wolves, still did the highest amount of damage on his team.
I will argue that's because he ended up having to fight people more often.
Yes.
As he died.
Yeah, I guess that's very true. Rifty, though, as per usual, slamming people left, right, and center on his Darius.
I mean, Zoe quickly following, Aaron extremely strong on that as well, especially in the early game. I like the way they roamed together as a 3-man
I feel
squad.
like the way he was using some of his Qs, it was like bend it like Beckham. It was like I felt like they were going round minions and killing people.
It was like the Beckham, Pepsi ad, and he was just kind of just kicking it into the trash cans out of nowhere. It was like, oh, doesn't matter how hard or how far it is, he can just get it.
Agree. So we're moving on to the next matchup now. I don't think we need to cover that Barrage Enclave game much more than we have right now, but let's sort of start to look a little bit more towards the next matchup, which will be Diabolus versus Misfits, obviously.
A much closer matchup.
Yes, I think on paper.
The expectation.
I think on paper, very, very close. And
I thought you were literally writing Diablos versus Misfits and kind of going on paper. They're a lot closer.
No, I'm writing it down for the timestamps, but I guess
I don't know why. I was
Diabolus Misfits on paper, because I have just written it on paper.
Yeah. And it is a closer matchup. It
is a closer matchup, and on paper, it's a closer matchup. We have a tweet, by the way. Let's have a look at the tweet that we have ready to go. Plot twist: if Enclave Gaming win tonight, then Barrage Jeff has to still eat 7 eggs.
Oh,
I feel like that's more of a I'm
maybe he just wants to eat 7 eggs.
Just like
I feel like that's just forcing him to eat 7 eggs.
It's like those memes of just like, if I get 1 like on this, I'm going to drink my weight in alcohol, and he likes it himself. It's like, say no more.
But yeah, this is Enclave effectively asking him, hey, will you eat 7 eggs anyway? We kind of want to see what happens.
It was like, I saw one of those actually recently. It was the it was like a Darth Vader one or something like that, and it was like. 1 like this and I'll kill my son or something like that. But it was Darth Vader, obviously. I don't think it was something similar.
It was 1 like and I'll overthrow the Jedi Alliance.
Oh yeah. But it was those things are funny. We've got another tweet, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Let's have a look. No idea why I still went for 7. A random number for a random forfeit. Completely forgot that they came 6 in the box. Not going to do a medic.
I
like
completely forgot that.
yeah.
I
Thank you,
completely
Barrage. I
it was a
forgot that we
half
asked
dozen.
that, but thanks,
Yeah,
Jeff.
that's important.
That was an important update. Yeah, remember, the eggs do come in half a dozen and a dozen.
Yeah.
So if you want to go for 7, I recommend the dozen box so you have some left over for, you know, cooked eggs
I feel like you
afterwards.
would never be in the mood for eggs after doing that.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, we're going to jump to a short break. When we come back, we're going to get into our next series between Misfits and Diabolus. See you soon.